War has changed. Well, at least it's evolved. Today, gameranx brings you the top 10 war games of 2016. Number 10, Hearts of Iron 4. Paradox Interactive created the strategy game that continues the Hearts of Iron series on a nation-sized scale. The game isn't just a macro look at war, but it's also a very involved wartime economics and politics simulator. It's really interesting. And although the closer you get, there are some minor flaws. To have a game operate on this scale that plays so well is actually somewhat amazing, especially considering they went with a sandbox style for both the progression of strategy and scenario. Number 9, Ashes of the Singularity, which was the first game to be released with DirectX 12 support and one of the first to incorporate Vulkan. Now, the game's a little bit more limited in scope compared to Hearts of Iron, however, it is a little bit more technologically advanced. In some respects, the game will call memories of StarCraft up and encourages the creation of supply lines rather than army bases, which, in all honesty, is quite interesting to think about. It's not the first to do this, but it does bring a refreshing approach to the real-time strategy genre. Perhaps the biggest draw is just the ability to have so many individual units on screen at once that a battle can literally just seem mind-blowing. Number 8, This War of Mine is a survival strategy game that melds message and mechanics in such a way that absorbs you in such an all-encompassing capacity. Now, when we say strategy, obviously we don't mean real-time strategy as in command and conquer style battles. This isn't StarCraft. This isn't Ashes of the Singularity. The game is all about resource gathering and management, as well as dealing with things that pop up every once in a while that you might not expect. Obviously, the game came out on PC in 2015, but I am referring to the console re-release as one of the top 10 war games of 2016. Truly fantastic, and if you haven't played it, I would highly recommend. Though, I wouldn't play it if you're looking for something that will lift your mood. Number 7, Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord is not out yet, but if we know anything about Warband, its chronological successor, that's right, this is a prequel, Bannerlord should be a pretty badass game. The developers have said that player feedback is actually the driving force between what they've done to the game, which includes better artificial intelligence, a siege system that's supposedly significantly more detailed, a less cluttered inventory interface, and highly improved graphics, although that was probably a given anyhow. Fans of Warband should probably get excited on account that was a really good action RPG. This game is supposedly going to be an allegory for the Roman Empire's fall via the Chaldean Empire, and for one, I think that's going to be interesting. Number 6, Worms W.M.D, which manages to do something that Worms 3D didn't do, which is not fuck it up. Worms W.M.D sticks to the original's tried and true formula, as well as adds some crafting elements to it that do a little bit in modernizing the game. Now, if you're a fan of Worms, there's nothing shocking in this game. It's not a revelation by any means, but it certainly is nice to have a good, solid Worms game that is available on pretty much any new platform you want to play it on. It also looks a lot prettier than any previous Worms title, actually borrowing quite a bit from the Angry Birds 2 aesthetic, which I think is not a bad idea one bit, and certainly reminded me what made me enjoy Worms in the first place. Number 5, Gears of War 4 has actually managed to avoid any controversy in the lead up to release, leading me to believe that it might actually be a title that launches without issue. And although because there's no controversy, there isn't a very large amount of hype, it seems like hype is built around argument a lot of the time. I kind of like the quiet lead up we're having to it. I know it's coming, it looks good, I like what Gears of War plays like, and there's no bad press. I mean, I could be wrong, but there's a pretty keen possibility that means the game is going to be quite good. And especially if you've played the Coalition's HD remaster of the original Gears of War, I gotta say, I think this is gonna be a pretty damn good game. Number 4, Titanfall's original game is a lot of great mechanics, kind of spoiled on a small experience. It's primarily multiplayer based, the missions didn't really feel like they progressed a whole lot, but at the same time, I really enjoyed the controls and exactly what I was doing. Titanfall 2 is doing something that I think needed to happen in the first game, and I'm happy is happening now. It's introducing a single-player campaign. And I am willing to ignore some of the negative things said about it because, honestly, I think there's potential in it. And if it lives up to that potential, Titanfall 2 is absolutely going to be one of the best war games of this year. Number 3, Total War Warhammer, which is a game that I've talked a lot about this year. And I have done so because it is a great turn-based strategy game along the lines of of any of the Total War games, but set it in the Warhammer universe, making it the first Total War game to be set in an entirely fictional scenario. There's really just about nothing wrong with this game if you're into turn-based strategy, resource management, and the Warhammer universe. And if you've ever thought, these games look cool, but I've played enough historical-oriented strategy games, here's your excuse. The Total War systems are absolutely tops, and to have them set in a fantasy setting, I have nothing but good things to say about Total War Warhammer. Number 2, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare garnered a massive controversy when it was announced, and has slowly gained a little bit of acceptance. Well, actually a fair amount of acceptance. Through gameplay videos that do look really, really good, people have gradually said, you know what, I'm gonna give this a chance. I didn't exactly defend the game when I got to the root of why people hated it, but I did say that I was open to it. And the more I've seen of it, the more open I am. What I would do from this point forward is to spin it off as a separate series. Infinite Warfare 2, Infinite Warfare 3, because it does look like a very refined style of first-person shooter. But you have to remember, I did rather enjoy Black Ops 3, and if you didn't, it may actually affect how you play it. I have a feeling there's going to be pretty widely ranging opinions on this game, but I personally am excited for it. And finally, number 1 is appropriately Battlefield 1. Essentially, the thing that people asked for when they got Infinite Warfare that made them so mad is what Battlefield 1 is purporting itself to be. And if it delivers when it comes out, it will definitely be. For one, Frostbite is a fantastic engine. At this point, we know this. All graphics aside though, DICE has reworked melee combat, including a lot more weapons and diversity in the ideas that are applied there, as well as expanded destructible environments, which by the way, is my favorite thing in video games. But I have a feeling the best part is going to be the multiplayer, on account the combat is looking like it's going to be quite diverse. Interesting, varied concepts applied to a multiplayer situation with 64 players, it's most likely going to provide a superior experience. Couple of bonus games for you, including 8-Bit Armies, which takes the concept of real-time strategy, simplifies it significantly, mirroring Command & Conquer a bit, Homefront: The Revolution, which did actually improve upon the original, but because of various issues sort of split people's opinions of it right down the middle, and XCOM 2, which is absolutely the premier turn-based tactics game. It does not get better than XCOM 2, period. What war games have you excited this year, and what are the favorite ones you've already played? Let's meet in the comments, we're very interested to hear. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, and if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every single day of the week, and the best way to see them first is a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon, you can follow me on Twitter @FalconHero, and we will see you next time right here on gameranx.